Guest knows quite a bit about the global economy, diplomatic dinners, and trade deals, and she also knows how to write an international murder mystery. And before her event at Interabang Books in Dallas, author and former First Lady of Iceland, Eliza Reid, is here to take us inside the pages of her debut novel, Death on the Island. Good morning to you. Oh my goodness. Okay, so tell me, where does the murder mystery begin? I want to know all the details. What is happening in this debut novel?
I'm not going to tell you who done it, though. I'll just tell you the very beginning. Yeah. So we have a gathering of about 9 people who are at a kind of diplomatic dinner in an island off the south coast of Iceland, which is the country where I live. Lots of secrets being held. They've been on an official visit. They've met the locals. And at the end of the dinner, they have a toast and someone dies.
Oh, gosh.
And they're stuck there for the bad weather. So you know that it's somebody around the table who's done something.
And they've got to figure it out.
And they got to figure it out, yeah.
Interesting. It's giving very much like Clue vibes.
It is. It's like Clue, like Agatha Christie, you know. So it's one of those kind of old school murder mysteries where you in theory should have all the options, but still hopefully you won't figure it out.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so tell me, because you just talked about how Iceland is where you live, and so your real life experiences, did you use those when incorporating and writing this book?
Well, so I had the honor of serving as the First Lady of Iceland for 8 years, which was an incredible experience. As you maybe can hear from my accent too, I grew up in Canada, so it was a new experience for me. So this book incorporates Canadian diplomats, it incorporates Iceland, and I sat through many a diplomatic style dinner, although there were no deaths at the end of it, thank goodness.
Thank God.
So yeah,
Thank God.
There's definitely fiction
But you know
there,
what, I think it's also so interesting to read this and kind of understand how other cultures work when it comes to their government. I don't think we often get an insight into that, and so being able to read about it.
But you know what's the same for all of us is I think all of us go to work sometimes and we have to put on those game faces, you know? We have to be like, okay, today I'm trying to accomplish this, so this is going to be my mood. And my heroine in the book, she's a little sick of all of that. You know, she hates this game playing and game faces, you know, and sometimes people are in those kind of moods. But to me, it's sort of a love story to this work that people are doing to bring friendships between countries. So I hope it's a bit of an introduction to that.
I like that. Okay, so tell me, how does the coast of Iceland, the isolation, the weather you mentioned, how does it all act almost as a character itself in the book as well?
Well, you know, Iceland has I don't know how many people have been to Iceland who are watching this, but it's got a really unique, beautiful, beautiful landscape, but also the weather can be a bit iffy sometimes, you know, so it is not that unlikely that you can have bad weather. The Western Islands where this takes place also had a volcanic eruption in the 1970s that really had an impact on the population. So I almost hope that the landscape is kind of like a character in the book.
I like that. Okay, so tell me then, because you talked about Canada and then you talked about Iceland. So tell me, you guys touch a little bit on diplomacy and then building relationships between the two countries. Tell me a little bit about maybe your real life scenarios in that situation, and then also how you incorporated it into the book.
Sure. Well, you know, I guess one of the big differences, other than the whole murder thing, is that I loved serving as First Lady, and I loved the opportunity to meet people from all different walks of life in different locations. And my heroine here, she's a little bit tired of it, but it's also, I hope, an insight into showing why it's important, you know, why you're trying to build business ties, cultural ties, and increase friendships. And I think we need in this day and age more discussions and people-to-people conversation to understand each other.
You know, it's so crazy to even meet someone that was the First Lady of anything.
I know, I hear you.
And so is it almost like a party trick? Like you pull it out and people are like, what do you do?
Well, you know, it's a whole other story, and maybe I'm writing a memoir that'll come out next year, so we can talk again. But in a nutshell, my husband had never run for public office before and was kind of encouraged to run by the people, and there was a 7-week campaign. So it was really from 0 to 200, and all of a sudden I'm Googling how to curtsy because I'm going to go and meet kings and queens.
Wow.
So it was quite an adventure, and a real honor.
Change. How and so quick at that. Okay, so sorry, back to the book. I'm so interested in that as well. But Death on the Island is the first, of course, in the series. But it's already been optioned for a television series as well. Did you ever imagine that would happen?
Never, but that's my whole life, right? I never imagined what would happen.
Exactly, that's your whole
sure.
series life of events. Okay, so any characters in mind, or any actresses or actors that you would want to play your characters?
Well, it's hard to. It's going to be Canadian-Icelandic co-production, which I kind of love, and so I hope that it's going to introduce people to actors that they maybe don't know who come from those countries.
That's very good.
So I'm going to leave it up to the experts to see what happens, but I have to say my kids think it's way cooler to be a TV series than a book.
There you go. There you go. You know what? I think you're hitting all the notches. First Lady, author, maybe even producer of a television show.
There you go.
We'll see. Eliza, thank you so much for being here and sharing with us the details of your book. And you can actually meet Eliza Reid tonight at Interabang Books on Lovers Lane. Wine in Dallas. Her discussion and book signing event begins at 6 p.m. and you can find out so much more at interabangbooks.com or elizareid.com.